So to protect themselves, many wildlife creatures simply fall into hibernation. But of course, they first had to prepare as well by storing calories or fat and making often warm dens. The rest of creatures, those who don't fall asleep, usually move to winter grounds, getting thick and long furry coats, gather together, and almost all of them slow down their metabolism to preserve, I think all of them, to preserve their energy for long winter starvation. The underwater life obviously follows the life on the land, and I know this for sure because I have spent years snorkeling and filming underwater. I've seen many times how fish gather together and migrate to winter grounds where some of them then simply lie there on the bottom, practically not moving at all. And of course fish migrate and change their behavior, so the predators have to follow them because most of predators still have to eat. Pike, for example, usually move to deeper areas, following smaller fish and also looking for a calm spot where they can stay barely moving for most of the day. Many times I saw how pike, especially big pike, were lying somewhere in weeds on the very bottom like logs, barely breathing for most of the time and coming out of their sleep only to feed closer to the end of the day. That's usually. Although in Ireland has no ice and snow, very rarely, like even today. Well, it's 15th of January, and we had frost at night, but now it's clear, as you can see, and might even rain. Still it's cold, and because of that pike is very slow here. Not everywhere. As I discovered when last summer I was fishing on big and deep Loch Derg, the pike in deep lakes feed almost with the same intensity all year round, because the water temperature in those lakes never drops below +8 or even +10. That's how I was told by professional fishermen. But today, as I've just mentioned, we're at the canal, which is very shallow, actually, 2 meters maximum, normally 1.5 meters, and which can get frozen in one night, like tonight. Yesterday it wasn't frozen, today it got frozen. Not everywhere, but if we get frost tomorrow, tonight again, this ice will thicken and will cover all the canal all along. So it can get frozen very quickly if the air temperature drops below 0, even 1-2 degrees centigrade. When that happens, the pike, I believe the same as most fish, becomes very, very slow. Barely moves and refuses to chase any bait, trust me, that moves even a little bit faster than the pike wants. I had chance to see all that many times in my videos. I'm not uploading all the footage because that would be hours of nothing happen when pike literally ignoring a little bit faster moving bait. It is still possible to catch it, but you would need to adjust your methods to pike's behavior. And that is what I would like to talk about now. I've actually done lots of tests and researches underwater studying pike's behavior, and I filmed many of those tests, and now they can be watched on my video channel on YouTube in the playlist called Video Fishing. I also add a link, but you can find it in my playlists. I've learned that the warm season fishing strategy won't work well during the cold season, and that fishermen have to change, adjust their approach and follow the conditions, which is actually obvious. So what would be the best techniques and the best tactics for catching pike during the cold season? First of all, which is also obvious, you would need to know where to look for pike when it's cold. As I just mentioned, they are usually moving deeper, following coarse fish. Plus, because of the lack of vegetation underwater, which has fallen to the bottom and hasn't left pike a chance to hide anymore. So, when the water temperature drops, you have a much higher chance to find pike very close to the bottom. And if you want to catch it, your bait has to be kept not higher than, I would say, 1.5 meter above the bottom, or more accurately from the pike, because winter pike won't travel up too far even if they spot a bait. Also, due to the fact that the pike, the same as the rest of the fish, slow down their metabolism during winter, they can't move fast anymore, which actually means they won't chase after any fast-moving prey. I was calculating the speed at which pike were not missing and not ignoring their baits, and they come up with approximately 1 meter per each 3-5 seconds. Imagine how slow it is. If a bait moved even a little bit faster, most pike would simply lose the interest in attacking or chasing it. In my videos, I watched how many times bait was passing few pike, and if it was moving a little bit faster, it looked like they couldn't see it, or they were starting moving and they were stopping immediately. Same pike in the same spot, same day, with the same bait, were not ignoring those baits if I slowing down to the speed I just mentioned. So 1 meter per about 3-5 seconds. It's very slow. You can calculate, try yourself. So the best results, keep it close to the bottom and at very low speed. But what bait can be used at such a low speed? Of course, a dead bait should work really well, and that's why dead baiting is so popular in many countries, including UK and Ireland, where, by the way, live baiting is illegal. So we reached the actual topic, dead baiting, because this talk today is not about lures. Although I'm using now lures, it is not about lures. It's about dead baits, fishing with dead baits. I think I'll talk about lures, hopefully in details, about lures, pike fishing with lures in general, and then hopefully I will spend time talking about how to do fishing efficiently with some particular lures different time, not today. In my experiments, the pike were taking the slow-moving baits much better than the fast-moving ones, or the ones that weren't moving at all. Even the tiniest motion or action was provoking the pike to hit a bait. So, dead baiting with a float should produce, in my opinion, better results comparing to bottom rigs, because even tiny waves will shake the float, adding some action to a dead bait. But again, a dead bait has to be kept at a distance of 1.5 meter maximum from the bottom to be more accurate from a pike, especially in not very clear water.